Welcome back, second grade. We are going to be starting our pumpkin drawing today. This is day one of a 2-day project. So I have my white paper. My white paper is more like a square, but if you don't have this paper, you can just use a regular piece of paper. No big deal. It'll all look the same. I'm going to start with my pencil first and draw really light in case I make a mistake. I am going to press down hard though, just so you can see it. You at home need to press lightly. Now, I told you that this was going to be a pumpkin that is really, really big, that we are zooming in on. So we're not going to see the bottom half of the pumpkin. We're only going to see the top half. So in the very middle of my paper, I'm going to add the stem to my pumpkin. So I am going to just add almost what looks like a rectangle, but I don't connect the bottom, okay? I'm leaving the bottom open for right now. If you want to get kind of fancy with your stem, then you could do like an oval and then draw your 2 lines down so it looks kind of 3-dimensional. Or you could do your oval going vertical, which means up and down, and then you could do your stem like this, okay? So it's up to you how you want to do your stem. I'm just going to do it the easy way for right now, just like that. Now, I told you not to connect the bottom with a straight line. That's because we want this to look like our pumpkin has bumps, because pumpkins aren't flat. They're not very smooth, are they? They're kind of bumpy. So I'm going to connect this with 4 bumpy lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If you do more than 4, it's okay, but try not to do too many, because if you do something like this, that's going to be very tricky for you, okay? So I like to say 4 or 5 is usually a pretty good number, okay? 4 or 5. Now, on the very edge of my stem, I'm going to draw 2 lines that go out to the edge of my paper. Now, yours does not have to look just like mine, because the nice thing about pumpkins is that they come in all different shapes and sizes. So if yours doesn't look just like mine, that's totally fine, because pumpkins are not all the same. So I'm going to draw a line this way and a line this way. And if it's a little bit lopsided, that's okay. No big deal. Now, I'm going to go to my bumpy line that's on the bottom of my stem, and I'm going to go right into the middle. Right on that middle line, I'm just going to draw a straight line down. Right down the middle. So I've got this half of my pumpkin and then this half of my pumpkin. And then I'm going to go back up here to that bumpy line, and I'm going to draw a curved line that goes this way. It's going to follow the curve. And these lines do not touch each other. And then this curve is going to go this way because it's going to follow this line. Okay. So now you can see that I have bumps on my pumpkin. I also want to create a horizon line in the background. The horizon line means that it's going to separate the sky from the grass. So you can either do that with a straight line, or if you want to get kind of fancy with it, you could do a zigzag line so that it looks like grass. So again, we're using all kinds of those lines that we talked about the first week of school. So now you can see that this is the sky, this is the grass, and the pumpkin is really, really close to us. The pumpkin is going to be in the foreground of our drawing. The foreground just means that's what's closest to the viewer. The viewer is the person who's looking at your artwork. I'm going to add a few little details to the stem. Maybe I want to get kind of fancy and add some vines. So I'm just going to add a loopy line. Not too many, maybe just 2. And then I'm going to add maybe some leaves coming off. And like I said, everyone's is going to look a little different. And that's the nice thing about being an artist, is that not everything has to be the same. All right, now that I'm done with my pumpkin, my vines, my grass, I want to add some stuff into my background, because I want my sky to look either like a nighttime sky or a daytime sky. If you want a daytime sky, you could do maybe a sun that's setting in the background. You could add some clouds, or if you want a nighttime sky, you could add a moon in your background with maybe some polka dots for stars. If you're up for a challenge, then you could draw real stars. So I'm going to show you how to do both, okay? So if you wanted to do like a sun setting in your background, I'm just going to draw it down here so you can see an example. Then you could just draw like the sun like this. Maybe you could add a few clouds. Whoops, my lights just turned off. Hang on one second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. You gotta love these motion sensor lights, right? Okay. So there you go. If you wanted to get really fancy, you could add a couple birds in the background. So that's one way you could do your background. Or you could pretend like this is your grass. You could put a moon in your sky. And you could do just like a circle moon, or maybe you want to do like a crescent moon. And then maybe you want to do some polka dots for the stars. If you want to get really fancy and you want to challenge yourself, you can do a real star. So you start with almost like a triangle, and then 2 lines that go straight out. And mine is definitely not going to be perfect, so it's okay. This takes some practice. 2 lines that come in. See, Mrs. D's isn't perfect, but it'll do for right now, okay? It'll do. So if you want to challenge yourself, you can go ahead and add some stars into your sky. Maybe you want to add some shooting stars. Totally up to you, okay? So I am going to go back to the front, and I'm going to fill up my sky. I am going to do a nighttime sky. So I am going to add my moon back here. I probably should have done my background stuff first, before I did my vines, but that's okay. It'll just look like my vines are overlapping. And then I'm going to add my stars. And remember, everyone's is going to look different. Alrighty. Perfect. Okay, once you have this done, then what I want you to do is take a black marker. And if you have a Sharpie, that's great. If not, you can just use a regular black washable marker. And if that's not available to you, then you can just use a black crayon, okay? And you might have to just press down just a little bit harder. No big deal. So I am going to finish tracing mine. So I'm going to pause the video, finish tracing. You'll continue working on yours, and then I will restart my video so you can see what it looks like once it's all traced. This is all I want you to do for week 1, okay? And then I want you to stop, take a picture of it, upload it into Google Classroom, and then next week we'll do the next step, okay? So I'm going to pause the video, finish tracing, and then show you what it looks like once it's done being traced. Okay, now mine is fully traced. I went over all of my pencil lines. If some of your pencil lines are showing through, like on your grass or on those vines, just take your eraser and go in and get rid of some of those pencil lines. And don't press too hard with your eraser, because then you could rip your paper on accident. So you still have to be gentle. So we draw lightly, we erase lightly, because we don't want to rip a hole in our paper and then have to start all over. That would be a big bummer. Okay, so I am totally done. This is where I want you to stop for today, okay? Take a picture of this. It should look just like a coloring book. Don't do anything else. This is where you stop. Take a picture of this, put it into our Google Classroom, okay? So I can see it. I want to check it. And then next week, we'll do the next step. All right, and that will be coloring and painting and all sorts of fun stuff. So I will see you guys next week. Best of luck. If you are an in-school learner and you are having a difficult time with this, stop by my classroom and I can chat with you. If you are a remote learner, then just contact me and we can set something up so we can get this figured out together. Okay, I will talk to you guys soon. Good luck.